morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Today is Wednesday, January 14th, 2026, and you are in the Java Cafe. For those of you that were on yesterday, and a couple of close folks know that past few days have been very interesting. Whatever this respiratory flu thing is going around, let me tell y'all something. Everybody was laughing at me in 2020, 21, calling me Mr. COVID. I'm about to go back to that because I would wish this on not my worst enemy. And I got a couple of haters out there, and I wouldn't even wish it on either one of the young ladies or the anyway. So good to see everyone in the Java Cafe this morning. We're going to check in. It's going to be a quick shot. Let's go in the Java Cafe and see who was in. We have not did that in a few days. And so let's check in and see who is here this morning. Of course, the first person I believe in the room this morning is Mama Java. Good morning to you. Good to see you in the room this morning. Sister Debbie, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room this morning. Dina, happy belated birthday. I forgot to mention her birthday. It was this weekend, so happy birthday to you. Good to see you in the room this morning, and safe travels. Pastor Marion, good morning to you. Thank you. I almost canceled this morning, but I said, let's jump on and do a quick shot because I do want to just give a little, I've been keeping up with a couple of things. City Council, we'll go to that in just a couple of seconds. Milagro, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room. I thought about you yesterday. A meme popped up on social media of kids being afraid when their parents say the A word. She might not hear me in here when they say Alexa. And yeah, I got to figure out how to send it to you. Anthony said, I'm mass backed up. Anthony's not playing after what he and Aaron went through. Definitely. Anthony, I just saw also, for those of you that don't know, the Davis system is having their intensive for organizers, nonprofit leaders, community people. That's taking place on the 31st and the 1st. And there's also a mixer that I saw, Anthony, on social media taking place at the Mix on the 31st. So make sure you follow them on social media, the Davis system, to sign up and register for that and take advantage of that. Look at my good longtime friend in the room. Jenny, good morning. Good, thank you. Good to see you in the room this morning. Good to see you in the room. Anthony, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Brother Milton, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room. GPS, and good morning. We're going to keep an eye on that screen handle over there on YouTube. Good morning. Just a couple of things before we get ready to. Is that Joe Textera over on Instagram? He's a cinematic film person down there in the South somewhere. Joe, good to see you in the room, man. Proud of what you're doing, bro. Like, you're doing it, man. When you come up in Boston again, let a brother know so we can maybe collaborate on something. Dina, of course. And today is the Tarvers. Dina, take that Marshall out your screen name. Dina Tarver and Marcus Tarver. Marcus and Dina Tarver. Today is their anniversary. Happy anniversary to them. Very quickly, I just wanted to mention a couple of things. Dina said also, I was masked up while traveling. Hope you feel better soon. This year's sickness is going around. It definitely is. It definitely is. Very quickly, just wanted to remind you all and mention that the reason for the past couple of months, myself, along with the Davis system, have been talking about, keeping an eye on Boston City Council. And things are very interesting. Councilor Bearden, who I'm going to reach out to her office today and invite her on to the Java Cafe so she can explain what it is exactly she's doing with these committees. That woman did not assign one major committee lead to a counselor of color. Government Ops, Ways and Means, and and I forgot the other one, economic development, I believe. Now, supposedly, Durkin and Pepin approached her, and I know that there's and I there is a lot of opinion about orchestration, who knew what, who put what into place on both sides of five. But Councilor Bearden, where you did that little speech on, the day of the vote, and called yourself identifying, I'm an ally of African American community. Sis, really? Because in your appointments, you don't reflect equity. You reflect old Boston. And we're just curious. And so you need to come and have a conversation with community about your agenda and why you did not assign any Black or brown counselors to government ops, economic development, and also government ops, economic development, and ways and means. And you put Weber, come on. You put Weber as the lead of ways and means, and everybody knows that Weber is the #1 champion for the other side of five. Like District 6, y'all need to examine him next year. He's not following in the same sort of path as Councilor Lara. And also, speaking of that, I have a whole and I don't know why. I don't know if y'all are hearing my computer, is it just me? But I have a whole layout of Shakira, you know, is better texting me. And I tell people all the time, getting a call for, especially now, getting a call from me is I'm just I'm going to try to do better, but definitely text me. It is very disheartening. And I said to someone yesterday, as much as we were out here championing that Boston is moving forward and progressive, we took a step forward to take a couple of steps back. Like, yeah, this is it's outrageous. It is definitely outrageous. And Councilor Bearden, a vote of confidence from the Black and brown community, I don't believe you have it. Just by the example of those appointments for the committees, it just, it's very disheartening. And so I'm sure somebody's going to let you know, or your staff or somebody. So, but no, I'll be calling directly and inviting you onto the show. And I didn't vote for him. Uh-oh. I did. Ari, let me know exactly who you're, well, text me who you're talking about. You don't have to put it out there. Dina Marshall makes a very good point here. Jenny, to your point too, we definitely took a step back, but Dina says there's an agenda, and unfortunately we won't know until it happens or someone spills the beans. And that's the thing, that it should not take this rah-rah, and if this city is so much toward equity, and we're moving, and we're getting ready under risk now, as of February 1st, that the guy, District 6. Oh, I got it, Ari. And I'm going to go to Instagram in a minute and greet folks over there. All right, let me stay focused, y'all. It's been a while since I've had to be in this space of politics and this med head and all that. Let me just stay focused. So we need to pay attention to what's going on. As much as there's progress made, we see nationally, as I was saying a couple of seconds ago, that we are at risk of another attack on funding. Even though the AG, the city of Boston, the mayor, who's a lawyer, they've sued the administration, and in most of the cases they've won. However, the holdup of maybe some reimbursement funds and things like that could be very interesting. And so we need to pay attention to everything: the ways and means, the budget process, economic development. One thing that I will say is that City Councilor Brian Worrell has a committee lead that I believe is economic development. And hold on for 1 second, because I have it. I have a couple of things I actually got yesterday. Sometimes I get some unsolicited stuff, and sometimes where is WhatsApp? he has Counselor Worrell has a committee that kind of has some economic development in it. But let's just do a quick review of what some of the past council presidents and what some of the past committees have looked like. And while I'm doing that, let me just go ahead and greet the folks over on Instagram real quick. The Chopper Bar pop-up is good morning to you. Ari said, after that bait and switch, everyone better pay attention. The Cliff Notes Project, good to see you in the room. I will follow up. As you can hear, I'm recovering. Also to Jasmine Webb, good morning. Good to see you in the room. And Dieli, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room. All right, so let's just take it's going to flip because, all right, how do I, boom, boom, boom. I want to just very quickly review for you what some past city council presidents have done as far as committee appointments. Now, you all know I am not a fan of Ed Flynn. I'm not. Him, Aaron Murphy, I'm not. And if you remember, and we had a lot of discussion here, Tanya Anderson came on, Ricardo Arroyo, like there was a lot of conversation in the end of 21 and 22 about committees and city council presidency. So we're going to go back all the way to 2018. That was led by a Black woman. The city council president was Andrea Campbell. The vice president was Councilor Siomo. He also had Ways and Means. Flaherty had government ops, and Flaherty had education, and also Asabi George had Flaherty had government ops, Asabi George had education, McCarthy had public safety. And that year was interesting. With a Black woman at the helm, you had all white at the three top committees. In 2020, Janey was the city council president. O'Malley had vice president. Bach had Ways and Means. Edwards Lydia had government ops, and Asabi George had education. In 2022, this is the one that is interesting. Councilor Flynn, and there was a lot of the negotiating of the committees and all of that. It is part of the wheeling and dealing, unfortunately. It's sadly, unfortunately. You get my vote, but this is my interest, and this is the committee I want. And you're not guaranteed to get it. And let me also there are some rumors out about how the 6-person coalition voted for Councilor Worrell. Don't believe everything you hear. And I'm a person that puts a lot out for y'all to hear. But trust and believe we're committed to being as accurate as possible, and sometimes having the responsibility of putting together one text against another text versus an inbox versus what a conversation includes. And then you got to sit up there and try to distill the facts of the matter with some opinion, of course. And so 22, let's review this. Councilor Flynn, Vice President, Councilor Arroyo. Ways and Means, if you remember, Tanya Fernandez Anderson, and also Government Ops, Arroyo. Education, Mejia. Public safety, Flaherty, and Kenzie Bach had city services. 24. Roof Seat was the president. Worrell was the vice president. Worrell had Ways and Means. Councilor Zapata had government ops, and Santana had education and public safety. In 2026, Bearden, city council president. Zapata, vice president. Interesting, because we were hearing strong rumors that Henry Santana was going to be vice president. That did not happen. Weber is over Ways and Means. Ways and Means on the city council is the main committee that does a lot of the negotiating around the city's budget. And you all know Weber's history. Mejia has education, which I'll give Beard in that. You all know what Julia's done with C-Plan and things like that. Santana still has public safety. Flynn has city services. Pepin has housing, and Durkin has planning. That's what your committees look like for 2026 and 27. This is why we were saying for a couple of months that we needed to pay attention to what was going on, and we needed to influence that city council presidency. Yes, it's a board decision and all of that, but obviously, and City Councilor Julia Mejia put up a post yesterday that talked about basically laying out what the committee leads do. And this is basically what she said, or basically what the post said. What does a committee chair do? Schedule and oversee public hearings assigned to the committee. Schedule and oversee. Lead bringing matters within their committee to the entire council for formal action. So they're the lead for bringing matters within the city council if there's anything under their committee. The chair sets the tone for how a given subject is going to be discussed and acted upon by the council. So independence, transparency, and an urgency to meet the moment is key. This is why we have to pay attention to what's going on. And it's not too late for us to still advocate. Like, we're not at a point that I know one, nothing has, well, I won't say nothing. I'm not putting up anybody's office number to rally folks to call yet, because we don't want to rally people to advocate amiss. We need to take a lot of the lead from the city councilors that share our values, that have demonstrated they're committed to aggressive equity. This is what we need more of on both sides of 5. There has been equity. Shagun's Excel sheet that I talked about and whatnot, but as Tanya Fernandez Anderson said, we need more aggression. Now, in fairness, and this isn't no cap, is the mayor going to be conservative? Was she conservative last year and this year? Yeah, she has to be. The council does as well, because at the risk of losing additional funding from the federal government, there's, oh, Jesus, I don't want to. If there is a lot of decrease in federal funding or hold up, it could, and some influence of what's going on with property taxes, the city's budget could be heavily impacted. And one of the easiest things to do when you're trying to balance a budget is to just simply delete a line item. Sometimes them line items have names on them or positions. And so my point of the more aggressive, what is missing right now in Boston is a fully demonstrated commitment to the success in an all-out aggressive manner, economically, health-wise, to the Black community. That from top to bottom, from orgs to municipality to and in this time, in these times, it's interesting to see folks that have influence, power, and money to not use that influence to further that agenda right within our city, and then those that have influence on it. I see my good brother, one of my Yodas in the room, probably one of them, Carlos Enriquez is in the room. He said, who's committed to such a thing? That remains to be seen when it comes to these perceived powers that be. And as I said before, we kept a step forward. Boston is progressing and things like that. But to examine what has happened with the city council, it's almost like a step forward. And as I said, we took two steps back. You came out and did this whole speech about being an ally to the Black community, identified your LGBTQI-ness. So Council Bearden will, as soon as well, maybe not as soon as, we'll be making a phone call to the office and having a very hospitable conversation. Personally, she, the very few into now, I will say inauguration night. Julia Mejia is a real one. I was literally coming up the stairs from Coat Check and I saw Councilor Weber. No, I saw Councilor Bearden first. And then I saw Councilor Weber. Went downstairs, came back up, and then my full intention was to, hi, can I just, what was your, especially Weber, what was your philosophy? And Councilor Bearden, well, she had already by that night just divulged everything. In the divulging, she did mention that Durkin and Pepin went to her house. Ed Flynn has concerns. Did they break meeting rights, public meeting laws? Did they break them? My understanding is that if they did, I believe at most it's a slap on the wrist, either to the individual councilors or to the council. I'm not even sure if it's a fine. So, this is the mayor's deal, in my opinion. And Carlos, that is a lot. That is an opinion of a lot. And I'll be honest and transparent. Now, in the implications of the lack of demonstrated equity, that's a problem. And with all due respect, definitely has not moved into a space, I don't think, of Menino as yet. But Carlos, that is an opinion of a lot of a lot of well-informed pundit, strategists, observers, that this is orchestrated. I will say can y'all tell me if y'all are hearing? I don't know what this is, but anyway, as a politician, if this is the case, Michelle is doing what she's supposed to do. This is what from a political standpoint, stacking, and then we talked about this since 22, stacking the deck of stacking the city council with your people in your favor. Of course, board presidents do it. Pastors do it with deacons and organizations do it with appointing bishops and things like that. So the thing that I'm struggling with now is what Tanya Anderson talked about, that for me, this is the space where you have impact, because this is the space that holds policy. Policy changes things. But when Councilor or Tanya Fernandez Anderson said that you don't get as much done there as easily and as quickly, it was a little like, really? Because this is where policy takes place. My point there is that people have to be the priority of policy. It just do the politics, do what you're supposed to do as a politician. But if the people aren't at the forefront, and particularly, as I said a few minutes ago, Black people in Boston aren't the targeted upscale, then the politics is a problem. We got to fight quite a few comments in here. Does anyone believe they went on their own merit in the 11th hour? It was not only, well, oh Jesus, I'm going to get in trouble. Carlos, not only merit, but skill set. Can I frame it like that safely? Jenny, Miss Sharon, oh God, y'all are having y'all own conversations in here with Union Capital. Carlos said full Menino move. Anthony, he turned the role down, citing having already served as vice president and feeling as though there were committees he could do better for D4. But to Jimmy's point, I do not believe he was appointed to the committees he was referring to. Carlos said, excuse me, you all, I ain't mad at her personally. Be mad at the electeds from your community couldn't find a collective win-win without having to go to Flynn and Murphy. And so this is the thing, because walking out of Symphony Hall from the inauguration, someone said to me, because I was basically like, with Gigi dropping out, Brian was in. And someone nicely said, yeah, with Murphy and Flynn back in Worrell, that's a problem. And I said a couple of days after that, and this is why and how Brian would be seen as anti-Wu doesn't make any sense to me. But hear my point here. If they thought that Brian was anti-Wu, they're going to back anything that is anti-Wu. They just are. That's what Aaron and Ed, that's what they do. You know, so Anthony, Jimmy said he is not sure they possess the tact to have. All right, I'm going to get ready to get off of here. It can, in these times, and all politics are local, of what's going on nationally and all the celebration of a sanctuary city and Boston's a home for all and welcome and all this other stuff. How the hell are people that are right here not being utilized? Carlos made a point, and I'm going to get ready to end with this. And I mean, everybody knows I'm not mad at the mayor and all this other. And she says here, you know, she knows when she comes here, there's going to be some accountable questions. I have yet to ask some questions directly of her yet. To Carlos's point, I ain't mad at her personally. Be mad at the now here. Be mad at the electeds from your community that couldn't find a collective win-win without having to go to Flynn and Murphy. There are a lot of voters who just don't understand. And a couple of these electeds are really going to yes, sir, Joe. A couple of these electeds, they do need to have some accountability. They do. Kelly McGrath. Why do I know this name? Politics over people is always a problem. All politics is local, and maybe some people need to pick up a copy of the book. Can you share which book you're talking about, or just the playbook period? That was funny. All right, folks, we're going to get ready to. Carlos is recapping for us. Worrell, Pepin, Louisiana, Mejia. They needed 3 more. That was the coalition. Carlos, we're going to sidebar, because yeah, we'll sidebar about that one. All right, folks, I'm going to get ready to wrap up and use some wisdom. As you can see, I've been talking too much, and I'm getting a little winded, but I'm coming along. Thank all of you, a couple of people that have reached out wanting to send the juices, meds, and all. I'm good. I appreciate it. But we're going to get ready to wrap up. Tomorrow morning, we are going to I'm going to just show a little bit of, well, I can't show the whole episode because we're on YouTube, but hold on. I'm just going to show a snippet. I don't think I'll get in trouble. I can't show the whole episode, but I can show some of it. Hold on for 1 second. We are going to show a little bit of my conversation with Jessica Pierre that took place last Thursday at GBH. So here is just a little snippet of it, and we're going to show this tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. All right, here we go.
For the arts, that gave you the confidence. When was the transition to comms? And when we say comms, everyone, it's just saying, you know, communications. We say that often. I'll text somebody, what do you do? Oh, I'm in comms. And they're like, well, what does that mean?
Yeah.
But when was the transition for you that you knew this was a career, and then maybe not so much the entrepreneurship full time? Did you have any entry time into communications?
So when I got to college, I had no idea what I wanted to do, but I had a heart to help people. So naturally, I applied to college under the degree of psychology because I thought I was going to be a counselor or a psychiatrist or something of that sort.
So that's just a very small snippet of what's taking place tomorrow. I'm going to read Charlotte's comment first. And this was the fear for me when Baker and Kraft and all them were in the race. Feel like some of these politicians are closet Trumpers. And that doesn't have to be confined to just people who don't have melanin. Did y'all know I be trying to be nice? Carlos said, hope tomorrow's show is sponsored by Vicks Vapor Rub. Whatever, brother. What's up, bro? Good to see you. We got to connect, sir. Good to see you in the room. Mama Java is Milton. Look, Milton, you about to get an adopted brother in here. All right, folks, I'm going to get ready to wrap up. We will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. to review the episode with Jessica Pierre. And yeah, that's it for me. And I don't think there are any other announcements. Dina says, I think a lot of politicians of all races align with things. Here goes Dina. We're not reading another comment from you because you've been pretty good for at least 60 days, but you got a reputation for putting a comment up and then getting me in trouble. But I mean, Dina, oh God, here's another one. I think people hide where they agree because they don't want people judging them. And if you have any alignment with Trump these days or dump or whatever, you will be judged. You mentioned one previous counselor who definitely was a more melanated Trumper. All right, I'm getting off of here. We will see everyone tomorrow at 10 a.m. as we broadcast the conversation with Jessica Pierre. Everybody have a great Wednesday. Also, I do have an update. The mayor's next date is February 4th. And there's some changes with how we are engaging elected officials and whatnot. And so we'll talk a little bit about that on the 4th. But we're committed to having the discussions and when appropriate and when we can bring in the people who are making the decisions about our quality of life, basic city services, the city budget. We are, last I was told, we'll be speaking with the governor soon about the state of the Commonwealth, and that is scheduled for the 22nd, and today's the 14th. So I need to find out when that date is. So that's it for me. And we'll see you tomorrow morning at